Yo, what's going on, people? And it's a banger for you right now. It's going to be my next exclusive sound tutorial. So this one's the D-Lo click sounding like this. So for the real old time fans, you'll remember this as one of my key sounds that I jumped into the scene with in about 2014. D-Lo clicks goes boom, 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 boom. It's also just a really nice standard click to use on its own, like. And also, maybe most known is when I wanted to kill the alchemist. All right, that's the demonstrations of the sound. Now let's break it down and figure out how to get it for you. Okay, so firstly, I would give this sound a difficulty rating of 4 out of 10. It would be lower, but you need some time to master the quality. So it's a click sound. We're involving the tongue. So a couple of sounds along the way that are getting you close is going to be an inward hi-hat that you can hum with. But even closer than that is going to be if you shift the tip of the tongue further back on the top of the mouth and get the click. Now we're getting pretty close because that's the same concept that we need. We just need a completely different position. So where the standard click is going to be right here on the tongue, we need to be using this part of the tongue, the side of the tongue, and then we're going to be using the inside roof of the mouth near the teeth. So we're still on the roof of the mouth, inside the mouth, on the inside of the teeth, and then up on that wall above the teeth is where we're going to make the sound happen. So for people that can already do any sounds like the click roll that you can see on this channel already, there's a tutorial. The click roll is a similar position to where we get this sound. They're pretty similar. So we take the side of the tongue and then we apply the same pressure as a click, but we apply it to the side in that position. And we're trying to get a click squeaky sound to happen. I'm going to come a little bit closer. So we keep the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. So your tongue sits normally like that. But what we're going to do is click on the side of the tongue. Can I get it on the other side? Yeah, so I can get it on the other side, which makes me believe that this sound is not too hard. Yeah. Okay, so it might be more of a sucky kind of sound to start. Like that. That's fine. It means you're in the right position. That's where the click is going to happen. I can also give another little piece of positional advice. You could move the tongue, shift it a little bit away from which side the sound's going to come from if you want to help. So it could shift like this. And then we're looking for this side of the tongue, or, well, the other side. Now, you could learn the click roll if you learnt this sound, and vice versa. Because it's very similar to where you breathe in to make the click roll bass come in. Anyway, the weaker version of this sound will be like this. Which means you're getting a click on the side of the tongue, but it hasn't got any of that click resonance like this. That's alright. That just means that you've got a weak version. So you want to be evolving it and tightening the suction of the squeak to get the resonance of the sound out. So the evolution would be like. That's how you get it. So that's the position of the squeak. You should be able to get something there. This step could take a while if you can get the click to come out on the side of the tongue. You're just going to have to work with your own anatomy to find out how to get the side of the tongue to do a click on the roof. Once you've got that click position, this is how we're going to start strengthening or developing the sound. So firstly, we go through that dead to full kind of spectrum. You can do it with the teeth together or the teeth open. It doesn't matter. That's not a part of the sound. Now, there's another closely linked sound, which is the original sound of click roll. Now, we are kind of doing that tight. That's another way to get to it. Once you've got this position, if your sound is a little bit sucky still, like, you could be using either a little bit too far up the tongue, or you could be using a little bit too far back. So try and shift it to the side edge of the tongue, closer to it anyway. Like, we're not using the side of the tongue, we're using the far side of the top, like this. That's the top edge that we're using. Once you're kind of getting a click, yeah, I'm using the other side now. You can change the shape of your mouth to get a different resonance with the sound. It's a bit of a fidgety sound, I can notice as I'm using the other side. Anyway, once you've started to get a clean click coming in, anything sounding like this, now you're just going to be focusing like a pinpoint where the sound's coming from and hitting it with pressure so that the click's coming out stronger and louder than you have right now. Just like a normal click. Trying to get as much pressure as you can. You're doing the same with this sound. Now, a final top tip I can give to you is the way to get more of a squeak or a higher frequency, even more volume, is to learn to bring the click sound on the tongue up just a little bit more than you would if you slide up where the sound comes. So you're going to have to shift the tongue into the sound a bit more. So say this is the tongue and this is the teeth line. The normal sounds like, but you might want to shift your tongue back and allow the tongue to be further up because you're kind of using the same position on the roof of the mouth. Yeah, you are using the same position on the roof, but you can bring the tongue back in so further up the tongue is being used, and that will give you a little bit more development to the squeak of the sound. That's how I'm getting those higher frequencies or maybe even more defined sound there. Now, in terms of practical tips, I think that is all of them. I do know this is a sound that some people can kind of already do even before they beatbox. It might just be a sound that you came across when you're messing around. But also, there is some cases where beatboxers have learned this sound very early, just out of natural exploration. I remember seeing Balance, UK loop station artist, when he was back in the day, solo beatboxer. He was at an under 18s in the UK and he was just like, and I was thinking, wow, I never heard anybody using this sound as good. So it was cool to see that. And yeah, since then I've seen a few shout out videos or other artists around the world using the sound effect. I do think it's a very underused sound. I think I take it for granted because I don't use the sound as much as I could. But I've used the sound. I've already brought out great sets with the sound before, and it still features in my style. I've got a new track as of right now that you probably won't hear for the next couple of years because I'm so back in time with my sets. But I do use it in an arpeggiation because it can be pitched. It's quite tough though. But you got some pitch in there. Now, in terms of usage for the sound, I recommend if you can already do a click, you just use that in the same position. It gives you a little bit more technical benefit because it's on the side of the mouth. So it might roll easier to do lip sounds or maybe even tongue sounds like a hi-hat. Might be easier because the tongue could be positioned already. You can also use it in place of a hi-hat. That's my first massive advice to you for click sounds. So where a standard beat could be, now we can go, and your kind of goal is to try and get a click sound to replace a hi-hat. And that means that you've got good usage of the sound already. Now, a repetition of the sound is always going to be helpful. just using it in repetition. Finding combinations with other tech sounds. Yeah, that's a wrap for the D-Lo click. I want to know if you found it. Go in the comments if you figured out the sound. Let me know in the comments. I want to see the success rate. And also check out other tutorials on this channel. There's already a couple of original sounds on the channel alongside a lot of vital sounds that you'll want to learn if you're trying to beatbox. So go and check it all out. Have fun. Cheers for watching. Again, yeah, let me know in the comments if you figured out how to do the sound. Good luck.